I don't know what title I'm gonna put for this video. If it says he's absolutely broken and people roll their eyes because every new agent is broken, you're just gonna have to hear me out because there's something particular about this agent that is special. Two main abilities. Now, the latest agent VETO, we have a ton of information. I'm gonna explain his abilities, including Interceptor, which you can see right here. Intercepts abilities. You try to get gold someone? No, because his E counters it. It's kind of insane, but what works and what doesn't work is something I wasn't sure about until I watched more videos, and now I understand it. It actually makes pretty simple sense. So if in your head you're wondering, does Interceptor block this but not this? I'm about to tell you. First, let's actually tell you every single ability, then we'll expand on each ability separately. Crosscut. You can place a teleporter, and as long as you're looking at it, you will teleport to its location. It is that simple. You look, you teleport to where you placed it. Interceptor. You place a little ball in the air. You have to look at the interceptor and actually activate it, which is something that you don't really see here, but I'll explain. When it's active, it'll destroy abilities coming its way like a trophy system, but there is nuance. We'll get to it. Chokehold, as the name implies, basically what's going to happen is when you place it on the ground, it is invisible. It is a trap. Once it is active, it will chokehold a ton of enemies. Actually, these examples that Riot gave are pretty poor. Ult is evolution. You become an absolute demon. You are invincible to everything. I know. The way they show abilities isn't super clear, so I'm going to cut to Bonnie or Bonai. I don't know how to pronounce it. It is a fellow creator who actually had extra early access, and as you can see here, there is a lot more info we can derive on it. I'm going to put his link like right in the pinned comment because it's his video that made things make sense to me. So similar to Fade's ability, but it can actually be set as a trap. You can either throw or toss this ability, and once it is landed on the ground, it is invisible, and if enemies walk near it, no matter how many, it will activate. So if you throw it into a group of people, it'll proc because it'll activate since the enemies are nearby. It'll then hook all the agents and actually decay them, meaning you can use it aggressively. You can use it to block entry because it's a trap. You can use it to watch flank if need be, and it is extremely versatile due to the way it actually works. So this ability obviously is going to be strong because inherently Fade's hook is strong. We know how Deadlock's net is strong. It's just used to throw straight into the corners and stuff. It's not going to be as instant, but you can throw it if need be. I think similar to a Killjoy trap though, it might be able to be broken before active. That I'm unclear on, but if that's the case, its primary focus is still being a trap, and it is going to be a very good trap at blocking entry. It's just going to be super versatile, and it is a strong contender for a very first ability. We don't want to expand on it too much since it is similar to what we already have in the game, but damn, I still think it's very cool. Okay, the trophy system. Basically, see how it's just floating in the air, dude. It's so weird. It is one shot by the enemy, just so you know. But you can throw it in the air and it will just float. It'll be this thing that just floats in the sky, and you basically set it because you can set it up on site. You can even pull it back if you want to move the setup. But once it is placed in the air, you can re-click to activate it. Once it is active, it'll destroy a ton, and I mean a ton of abilities that come its way. And it is instant. It will not miss. It has insane aimbot, and even if it is activated after the fact, it'll still destroy stuff in its way. It's going to be slower, so it's better to be preemptive than reactionary when using this ability, but it is one tap. It destroys a ton of abilities, and the first thing people are going to ask is, does it destroy all abilities? Is everything cooked in Valorant? No. Let me explain by showing you this screenshot, and I think I finally cracked the code. Interceptor. Equip the interceptor. Fire to place the interceptor at projected location. Once placed, reuse to activate. Once active, it will destroy any utility that would bounce off a player and or be destroyed naturally by gunfire. Let me explain. Bounce makes it sound like Sova Dart or a Yoru Flash, but not exactly. Let me explain how this would work. Let's say I go ahead and pick Jet. Okay, so Jet smokes actually do get destroyed, but they don't bounce, right? Instead, they can hit the player. Anything that can hit the player will absolutely get destroyed. A Brim Molly can be body blocked. It bounces off the player. Even though it can't be destroyed, it can bounce, therefore it is cooked. Does that make sense? For example, we go Omen. Omen's blind, Omen's smoke, everything just goes through stuff. It doesn't interact with the map player. There's nothing that a player or anyone can do about it. So I'm assuming something like Sky's new flash, right? Before it used to be able to get destroyed, but now because it's undestructible and goes through stuff, it's likely not to get destroyed, while the dog obviously is going to get destroyed because it can interact with the player. That is the basis on what works. I'm a Yoru main. I'm cooked. completely cooked because everything here can interact, bounce, touch, move, maneuver with a player and around the map. So I'm personally cooked. Reyna's flash can be destroyed. So even though it goes through stuff, because you can shoot it, so can that new ability. Sage wall. There are some stuff ambiguous. For example, ISO's wall. Technically it goes through everything, but if you shoot it, the bullets bounce, you know? But I think ISO's wall, Astra's ult, those just will not. Or it'll shoot it, but not destroy it, which would become a counter. So those are ambiguous. But everything else makes sense. Shock dart, obviously. Sova arrow, obviously. Sova drone, obviously. There's just some stuff that make perfect sense. So a huge amount of abilities are countered, but technically not everyone, because Breach, we're able to send everything through stuff. Nothing that Breach does is interactable, shootable, or bounceable. So everything Breach throws will not be effective. Does that make sense? But if you have questions, I should hopefully be able to test stuff with the new agents, so let me know. So the teleporter is just a teleport, so I'm not going to touch on it too much. I want to touch on the ultimate, since that one's very, very, very important. Once you ult, it's like crazy. The ult is this guy, dude, this guy in the hands of Smurfs, it's over. When you ult, it heals you fully and you're immune to everything. And I literally mean everything. There is no conditions in this case. Once you ult, you can walk through Cypher trips, you can walk through Breach ults, you can walk through, you will not be hit by anything. It does not matter what you believe can happen, you will not be hit anything. You might think oh, what about ISO? Can ISO grab him? I'm just gonna go ahead and say no, because you're not getting Breach ults, which is the same thing. It's on the ground, it's supposed to affect you. Nothing. There is nothing that will do anything to you. Once you are ulted, you are free to walk around one-tapping everyone. But there's even a bigger issue with that, is you can combo it with your team. So your team can continuously flash, and everyone's flashed in the game except for you. So looky here. My bro uses ult, which is evolution. He is now in evolution. The first thing is I don't see a timer, and the evolution timer is not going down. So I don't know if evolution is permanent, because that's what it's looking like. It looks like it's permanent until you die. You can see his Phoenix is flashing, his Yoru is flashing, everyone is flashing, and he is completely unaffected. Now, theoretically, if you hear, you hear this go off, there are some other counters that I can think of. For example, you can't walk through a Sage wall. So for example, thinking of a Sage wall to slow down, to at least slow him down. Now, of course, slow orbs won't work, but any physical object I believe works. That's something we gotta test. I don't think he'll walk through a Sage wall. He won't clip through an actual wall. And in that case, there are some very minor counters, but overall, you hear that ult, and it's gonna be hard to do much of anything. Because if he ults and walks in first, he'll be able to clear everything, but they won't insta-break. Meaning, let's say he walks through a Cypher trip, he'll still have to call it because everyone behind him can also hit that Cypher trip. But still, everything else just won't work. Even if a Raze rocket is coming his way, it'll just negate the damage. I'm playing the same clips over and over because I don't want to take too much content from another creator. You should go watch his original video. But yeah, nothing is going to affect you. Evolution literally says you have combat stim, so you take out your gun quicker, you reload quicker, like Reyna, and you become immune to all forms of debuff, which include a Raze rocket damage. The last thing I'll show, just because the guy got an amazing clip here, is he throws the TP into the corner, he waits for them to push out, he TPs behind them, and he goes ahead and kicks ass. Again, click the link down below because there's a ton of content you should be watching from this guy. Now, with that being said, I just want to give a couple final thoughts here. I believe that VETO is one of those agents that when we see in practice, we're going to see if he's genuinely broken, as in he's actually too oppressive for the game. But I do believe that there's two types of broken in Valorant. There's the genuine broken, which is anyone and their mother can pick VETO and kind of cause living hell. We've had these agents. Sometimes they're broken for too long, sometimes not that long before they nerf them. And then there's the type of broken that is frustrating, meaning regardless, let's say Breach is not broken, but we know an amazing Breach can make your game frustrating. This feels like it'll apply to VETO, even if you're not as good, even if you didn't put thousands of hours into Breach, know all the lineups and what to do. I feel like VETO just inherently, if you have ult and you're going to pull it out in his E, a 200 credit ability is thrown out and just counters you completely, it's aggressive. People felt that about Yoru clone to some extent, with him being able to get picked up by ISO, but that's a very unique instance. This is not a unique instance. This is its goal. This is the ability and how it's built. It is made for this reason, and I believe it will inherently be frustrating. This will include being completely steamrolled by someone better than you, especially as a Smurf. I think this will make Smurfs even more frustrating, because if you are ulting and nothing, the one thing you can do if you're fighting someone better or a Smurf is work together to stun and oppress by targeting. But if the guy can just walk through everything, it is going to be frustrating. It's what makes Reyna Reyna, and this ult is just insane, inherently insane. I do believe he will be a frustrating agent to play against, regardless of how inherently those stats and numbers are when he releases. But let me know what you think down below.